today, we're talking about application programming interfaces, or as everyone calls them, APIs. All right, let's pull back the curtain on the invisible engine that really powers our digital world. And as we're about to see, this exact same engine is what's giving artificial intelligence a whole new set of superpowers. So today, we're talking about application programming interfaces, or as everyone calls them, APIs. And trust me, you use these things all the time, probably hundreds of times a day without even realizing it. And before you think this is just some niche, nerdy tech topic, get this. This one idea is powering a market that's about to go supernova. We're talking about a leap from around $41 billion this year all the way up to over $373 billion by 2032. That's a 9 times increase. It's a huge signal that something fundamental is changing in how we build, well, pretty much everything. Okay, so what is an API, really? The simplest way to think about it is like a universal translator for software. It's basically a set of rules, a contract, that lets two completely different apps talk to each other without either one needing to know all the messy, complicated details of how the other one actually works. You've probably heard the restaurant analogy before, and honestly, it's perfect for this. So imagine you're at a restaurant. You are the app. You know exactly what you want to order. The kitchen? That's the server. It's got all the ingredients, all the data, and the power to make what you want. But here's the key. You don't just walk into the kitchen and start making your own food, right? Of course not. You talk to the waiter. And that waiter, that's the API. The waiter takes your specific request, goes to the kitchen, and brings back exactly what you ordered. It's that critical middleman that makes the whole thing work. Right, but here's the thing. Just like waiters can be different, the waiter at a casual diner is different from one at a fancy restaurant, not all APIs are built the same way. They have different styles, and picking the right one is a huge deal for how well an app performs. So let's get into the most common types. So let's stick with our restaurant analogy. On one hand, you've got REST. Think of REST as a fixed menu. You order the user profile special, and the kitchen sends out the entire plate. The appetizer, the main course, the dessert, everything. Even if all you really wanted was the main course, you get the whole shebang. Now, on the other hand, you have GraphQL. GraphQL is totally different. It's like handing the waiter a custom shopping list. You say, I want just the username and the email, and that's exactly what comes back from the kitchen. Nothing more, nothing less. This is so important because it stops something called overfetching, wasting time and data by getting a bunch of stuff you never even asked for. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Let's look at how these different styles actually perform when you put them under stress. That old standby REST, it's pretty fast for simple things, sure, but look at that failure rate in tests, 23%. That's not great. Plus, it can be a real resource hog. Now, GraphQL, it's a rock star under pressure, a 100% success rate, super efficient with your computer's brain power and memory. The only catch is it can be a tiny bit slower to respond. And then you've got this other player, gRPC, which comes from Google. It's like the best of both worlds, really balanced, super low latency, which makes it perfect for what we call microservices. That's just a fancy way of saying a bunch of small, specialized services that need to talk to each other constantly and incredibly quickly. So, you might be thinking, okay, waiters, menus, cool, but why should I care right now? Well, here's why. This is all directly connected to the next giant leap for AI. We are moving from AI that can have a conversation with you to AI that can actually take action for you. And this quote really nails it. This shift from conversational AI to action-oriented agents isn't just a small upgrade. It's a fundamental change. We're talking about moving from a simple chatbot to a true digital assistant. One that doesn't just talk about booking a flight, but actually goes and books the flight for you. And don't think this is some sci-fi dream for the future. It is happening right now. I mean, look at this number. A whopping 89% of developers are already using generative AI every single day. The people who build our software are already weaving this intelligence into the fabric of everything. And this chart just shows you the insane speed of this change. Right now, in 2024, fewer than 1% of big company software tools have this kind of agentic AI, AI that can do stuff. But look at the projection for 2028, a third. It's expected to jump to 33%. That's a 33 times increase in just 4 years. That is an absolutely explosive growth curve. So here's the billion-dollar question. How does an AI, which is basically just a bunch of math and text living on a computer, actually do anything in the real world? How does it send an email or update a database? The answer, as you've probably guessed, is APIs. For these new AI agents, APIs are literally their hands and their eyes. It's how to connect to all your other apps and actually get stuff done. But with all this new power comes a pretty scary new problem. I mean, if you're giving an AI the keys to your entire digital life, what's to stop it from going rogue? And this isn't just some abstract fear. It's the number one thing keeping developers up at night. For over half of them, 51%, the biggest security worry they have is the AI making API calls it's not supposed to. All right, let's put all the pieces together. What does this future, this action-oriented world, actually look like? Okay, so what are the big takeaways here? First, APIs are the invisible waiters that make the internet work. Simple as that. Second, not all waiters are the same. The style of API you use, like REST versus GraphQL, has a massive impact on performance. Third, and this is the big one, AI is getting hands and eyes. It's moving from being a conversationalist to an action taker, all thanks to APIs. And that leads to the final point. This amazing new capability comes with a huge security headache we have to solve. And that leaves us with a big, final question, really for all of us. As we start letting these AI agents handle real tasks for us, in our jobs, in our personal lives, how do we build the guardrails? How do we create the trust and security that a world run on APIs and AI is going to need? The tech is practically here, but figuring out how to manage it safely, that isn't just a job for coders. It's one of the most important questions we're all going to have to answer over the next few years.
If this helped, consider subscribing to BitScoop for more simple tech explainers.